Is London Prime Central an old boys club? Today I'm joined by Zara Hilton, who is ex-JLL and ex-Marshall Parsons, and she's set up with her colleague and partner Alex Moisii their own Prime Central London estate agency called Crests. Zara, why do you think Prime Central is an old boys club? Talk to me.
Because it is, to be honest, because it is. I think my experience going into it was a little bit almost of a shock for me. I'm a very positive person. I'm a very I can do it sort of mindset. And I think going from Marsh and Parsons, it's slightly different because I was based in Fulham, okay, so it's not really your prime central. It's a little bit further out. It's more kind of
yes,
it's a nice
yeah.
SW6. It's
Yeah.
a nice market, but it's people my age buying there. You know, it's relatively young. It's like families buying for kids. It's not really kind of your typical prime central market. So that was slightly different from there going to Knightsbridge, okay, because I think I went into the mindset going to JLL and I was like, okay, I'm going to win so many instructions. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I think it was almost like a humbling experience for me because there's people there that have been working that industry for 20, 30 years and they still struggle to get the instructions. They still struggle to kind of get their foot in certain doors, and it literally is who you know. I can't even explain that enough. No matter what you're doing differently, it's to get your foot in the door there. That's who you know.
That is pure out and out estate agencies being called out for the valuation.
Yeah, 100%.
Is that because the people who sell houses and buy, well, I know buys differently, but is that because the people who sell houses in Prime Central, it's a very closed environment where boys, we said old boys network. Is it old boys with estate agents, or is it because the owners are old boys as well?
Do you know what? I think it's a mix. I think there's definitely a lot of international people in that area now. So I think it's like a time convenience thing as well. It's just oh, Jim from blah, 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 I've worked with him 100 times before, or my friends recommended him before. So we'll just go with him. We'll just give the instruction to him. It's already kind of set in their mind. They have one or two names that they just always go to, and that would be it. So to kind of break that and be able to get your foot in the door and give another pitch, I think that's kind of the hard part.
How do you break the old boys network? How does a new agent come into Prime Central and start to smash away at the wall?
I think networking is really important. I think managing your expectations as an agent is really important. Sometimes you're going to have to take the hit and go in and do a joint agency, or, maybe take a tiny bit of a hit on your fee if you're willing to do so. I think just to be able to get your foot in the door, because once you've done it, once you have that social proof, it's so much easier to keep building on that. But you just kind of need to be able to get in there once. Even it could be just building a relationship with the vendor in general. So they might have a property somewhere outside of London, or a development that they're working on somewhere, maybe working on that first and building up that trust and then going into the market.
Sounds an awful long game.
It is. It's a long game. And me, I'm a very I want everything now. I want to do it now. I want to do the best that I can now. But I think sometimes you just need to take a little bit of a step back and be like, okay, this is my 5-year plan.
How have you become patiently impatient?
Probably from just having to be honest. I think from experiencing it and being okay, no matter how much energy I put into this and no matter how much I think I'm outworking somebody else, sometimes you do just have to be a little bit patient with it and kind of almost wait your turn to get into it. Which I don't know if that's the right advice, because
I mean, you've set up a business with both your business and life partner, Alex
Yes.
Moisii, Crests. And if you don't mind me saying, you guys have only been around 3 months. Alex been in a state agency with another brokerage model before. You are getting foots in doors, even in Prime, aren't you? That probably a normal estate agent would be getting through the door now.
Yeah, I think, do you know what it is? I guess it's just about speaking to the right people, getting your face out there, getting your brand out there as much as you possibly can. And it hasn't necessarily been going straight for those like £20 million properties or like the addresses like Eaton Square and stuff like that. You know, it's still a process, but I think it's just about like making the connections with the right people.
Interesting you say the word process. Most estate agents are people, not process people.
It's a mix. It's a mix. Like, I'm definitely a people's person. I love people. I love building relationships, but I think there has to be some sort of process in mind, or
But you are
it's just a bit.
Alex says that you are a good process person.
In comparison to him, I am the process person, but I'm probably not I definitely am the admin person, you know. I think,
Well, that is process.
yeah, I think because I've worked in that more corporate environment, I've had more processes in this kind of journey, and I know them a little bit better, but I'm probably not the best at it.
What advice would you give to anyone watching, and probably more importantly, what advice would you give to your former self, who went to JLL a few years ago, that you'd do differently today?
I think, do you know what? I'm not really a person who believes in like regrets or like doing
Never
things
said
differently.
regret.
Yeah, I
What
think
would you do differently?
I don't think I do anything differently, just in the way that this is the journey that I'm on right now. I've probably learned lessons and learned things, but I think I needed to learn them.
Yes, but surely if someone has walked the path, you could help someone watching this by saying, watch for that stone and watch for that path. What paths have you learnt that you shouldn't take?
I think
Without
don't,
regret.
yeah, don't let yourself get knocked down by it just because, you know, even if you don't win an instruction or even if you don't get it into one listing or into one door, don't kind of let that knock you back and be like, okay, you know, I've done something wrong here. I haven't done enough here. Just allow the process to happen, allow the time to happen, and have a bit of patience.
Put the hard work in.
You have to put the hard work in. Like, in this industry, full stop, you have to be willing to put the hard work in.
And be patient.
And be patient, definitely.
And have the self-awareness to be aware of those two things.
Yeah, and have the confidence as well, because I think
You need
especially
to pay the bills, though. You need to pay the bills in the meantime.
you have to pay the bills, but I think you also have to manage your own expectations in this industry. It's a long road, you know, it's not kind of a quick fix for money. So you have to.
So you almost have to earn the right to be sitting at the table so you can earn the £20 million property fees.
100%, because if you think about it, if you're working with vendors at that level, like, they're going to see your bullshit a mile away. Do you know what I mean? You need to know what you're talking about. You need to have the experience there. And it's so easy to be like, oh, I've been doing this a week now, or I've been doing this 2 weeks, I've sold no properties, but I want to sell a £20 million home. How are you even going to know how to sell a £20 million home? How are you going to know how to get it over the line? So I think you have to have the experience there and kind of have dealt with the horrible, horrible sales to be able to bring that experience to this.
Thank you for your time today, Zara.
Thank you.
Boys and girls out there in the estate agency land, it is an old boys network for a reason. And if you want to break into that, you have to play their game, but also play your own game by being hardworking, having patience. They put the hard work in. It's time for you to put the hard work in and the patience to play the long game.
100%.
Thank you for your time today,
Thank
Zara.
you. Cheers, Chris. Thank you.